Hi, I'm Peter J. Ray. Welcome to Adventures in History. Today's topic is Dearest Mother, Love Ruthie, Ruth Smallshaw Ray's Letters to Her Mother, 1950, Part 50. Editor's note. The first 5 pages are missing in this letter, and Ruth is talking about the very bad car accident that she and John Ray were in, and the aftermath. May 1950. Dearest Mother, I tried not to get any blood on the police car, so my skirt was pretty bad. Bill had some cuts and went with me, patting me on the shoulder. He's okay now. John stayed to give names and followed us right away. They took us to the emergency ward of Mount Sinai Hospital, and by 8:45, it happened at 8:15, they were stitching away. They sewed on my face for 2 hours. John waited outside. He called school and work and insurance, I think. He said I yelled some and he could see my feet wiggling. The doctor said I was a good girl and told another doctor, "This little girl has a lot of guts." I told him he was just saying it to keep me quiet. They didn't give me any anesthetic or anything, and some of it was quite sensitive. But he told me if I moved, he'd make a mess of it, so I tried to keep still. It's funny. I hadn't a thing on my mind when it happened, but suddenly I was bursting with ideas. I told them about when I made my bridesmaid's gown and how long around the hem seemed to sew. Well, sewing on my face seemed even longer around. They stitched under my eye and down my nose and a bit on my cheek. I haven't seen it, so I'm not sure. I also told them I'd been wondering about getting married, but this cinched it. I wouldn't. The doctor said nonsense, that I should get married next month, and he wants an invitation. Well, they finally called John in to look. I really hadn't felt too bad up to that time. In a way, it's interesting to note your own reactions. I'd always thought I was so vain, but from the first, I didn't particularly worry about me until I saw how sad John looked. He looked sort of green and so sad. When they had me all bandaged up, I looked like a mummy, and they wheeled me out and I saw John again. I really felt awful, but I shouldn't cry because I pulled the stitches. They also had to sew up my little finger. I thought it was cut off, but it wasn't, just very deeply. It's been more painful than my face. They deadened it. So they x-rayed my head from every angle and my knee, which was banged up. John was just wonderful. He stayed right beside me most of the time. When they brought me in, they kept saying, "Why, she's just a young girl." And I'd say, "I'm 25. "Have they notified her parents?" And, editor's note, the end of the letter is also missing. 2457 Kenilworth Road, Cleveland Heights, Ohio, May 13th, 1950. Dearest Mother, Daddy, and Bud. Hi, my sweet family. I hope you had a nice Mother's Day and that my letter about the car accident didn't come until after. I didn't want it to. I hoped you'd have a nice day first. Well, everything's going along nicely. Dale drove John and I to the doctor at noon today. He says everything is coming along nicely. He took out many, many more stitches and says there are still some left. It's still too early to tell about scarring or if the nose has to be set, but he says a small operation will fix it up if it's necessary. I now have flesh-colored bandages, so I'm looking almost normal. The bandage is off my lower cheek now. As a matter of fact, I feel so good I plan to go to university classes Monday after he dresses it again. My finger also has a flesh-colored bandage. I did my washing yesterday, and John brought up the vacuum, and I cleaned the rugs and mopped the floors this morning. So we're set for Dave and Gloria to come. I was so thrilled this morning. In the mail was a card signed by all my kitties. So sweet. Also a card and hanky from one of the parents and a few others. A letter from my attorney to file suit against the other fellow. Also, both John and I got letters from Frances. She's coming up in July. It'll be nice to see her. Just now, another lovely surprise. A bowl inverted on a pedestal with yellow gladiola in water, or formaldehyde, I think, from 4 of the girls in one of my college classes. I was so surprised and pleased. I've just been saying, though, that it's a shame we don't know someone who's sick so we could take some to them. I can't get over how nice everyone has been, though. The check from the school staff and especially the card signed by the kiddies. It makes me feel that it's a pretty nice, friendly world. I know, though, that the reason my spirits have been so good is because John has been so attentive, sympathetic, and encouraging. I love you, Ruthie. He's so nice. 2457 Kenilworth Road, Cleveland Heights, Ohio, May 17, 1950. Dearest Mother, Daddy, and Bud, every day I planned to get a letter away to you, but I've been so terrifically busy. I'm tired now, but I know you'll be expecting a letter. Everything's going just fine. Gloria and Dave came up Saturday. It was so nice having Gloria for a roommate again. She stayed in Connie's bed, and Dave stayed at the co-op with John. We had a very nice time. We went to a drive-in movie Saturday night, out to church Sunday, my first public appearance. I cooked a ham and had baked sweet potatoes, frozen corn, and made raspberry shortcake for dessert. It was just so much fun, and Gloria said that it was so nice being with friends again. They were just leaving when John's mother, dad, grandmother, and Carol came. They were so nice. John's mother bought me a lovely green silk jersey housecoat with pleated skirt. John whistled for about 5 minutes. He likes it. It is just beautiful. His grandmother brought me a box of chocolates, and we had a very nice visit. Shortly after they left, we went babysitting, looking after the Klein's 3-week-old baby. She's so cute. Lots of hair for so young. Monday, John got a phone call saying that his grandmother, who had been in to see us, had died that night after they got back. Such a shock. So poor John went to Sandusky by bus Monday night, but came back late that same night. She was ready to go, though, since her husband died a year ago, and she missed him. She always referred to things as we, us, and ours, as if he were still alive. Well, I went to my classes Monday and Tuesday and taught school this morning. Everyone's been so nice. I've heard more car accident stories in the past few days. My kiddies' reactions were different. One little girl was so shy at first, of the bandages, I presume. Deanne wanted to touch my face and said, "Poor Miss Smallshaw." Vera said I hadn't gone up to heaven after all. Stephen and Gary wanted me to take off the bandages so they could see. And Stephen told the others my nose had been cut off and then stuck back on, which isn't too far wrong. They all wanted to know how it happened and if I cried. And of course they told me everything that has happened while I was away and who had been bad. Mr. Chauncey, who substituted, said he couldn't see how I could teach them and take full 15 hours credit too. This time of year with papers due and exams near, I rather wonder too. I went to the doctor Monday and he took out all the stitches on my face, not my finger, and he will know in a week if I need an operation to fix my nose. He says it's almost fantastic how quickly we heal. It is, too. I can't get over how lucky I am. I hope I look all right pretty soon because I really would like to get married in June or July. John's mother enclosed a nice note asking us to go to the lake in July. I can't tell you how nice he has been. Bill was at the hospital having his cut fixed. He went with me after the accident and said John was like an expectant father while he was waiting for them to sew me. I got the photo from Marion today, so I'll show it to the doctor. I had a letter from Frank in New York suggesting I come down some weekend. I expect he'd be surprised to see me like this. I love you, Ruthie. 2457 Kenilworth Road, Cleveland Heights, Ohio, May 18th, 1950. Hi, my family. I got your letters today and hope you didn't feel too bad, 'cause things are coming along fine. The main thing is that I feel so good. I'm so happy Bud got Mother a nice corsage. It sounds lovely. I'll write him. I didn't want you to get my letters until after Mother's Day anyway, dear. Another busy day today. My kitties are settled down considerably. It's so cute to see them tell each other that Miss Smallshaw didn't go to heaven with Terry after all. Carol's mother said she got out the Miss Smallshaw doll with the red wool hair and stroked her, saying, "Poor Miss Smallshaw." It's good to be back and active again. Everyone's been so sweet, but the car accidents I've heard about will last me forever. After school, I typed on one of my reports, then class, and just finished typing, now 11:30 p.m. I'm at the co-op and they're having a house meeting. It was my gray skirt and green short coat that were in the accident, both dry cleaned and washed perfectly. So lucky there, too. John read your letters, reaction to mine about the accident. I got the photo from Marion. John said he'd never recognize me. I've changed so much since I was 21. Don't worry about doing anything for me, dear. I'm okay, and we may be driving home June or July depending on when my bandages come off. A nice letter from Connie. Must write. I love you, Ruthie. 2457 Kenilworth Road, Cleveland Heights, Ohio, May 20th, 1950. Hello, dear. How nice to get your letter and Marion's today, but sorry to hear you shed any tears at all. I saw the doctor today and everything's fine. The bandages are all off but my nose, and they come off next Friday. I'll know if my nose needs an operation. He said today I may need a little plastic surgery on my cheek and the bridge of my nose, since there's quite a dent in my cheek below my eye. As I was waiting for the streetcar, did I mention in my last letter, a woman came up and said she'd seen the accident. She recognized me by my hair. She said she was so glad to see me, as she thought with such awful gashes I'd be horribly scarred. I guess I'm very lucky. He took the stitches out of my finger, too, which has been more trouble than my face, since it gets in the way. I'm so glad you liked your corsage. Bud did a lovely job, I guess. I saw Dean Robinson, and he says I lack only 14 hours to graduate. I could get that in summer school both sessions. However, John and I are planning to get married either late June or July, whenever I look fairly okay. I'd like to come home and have Connie and Marion bridesmaids if they're home. It was so nice of them to visit you. Probably Ann and Wayne Duff will drive out. They say they've been planning a trip to Saskatchewan for a year now. Quite possibly John's mother and father will drive out too. If I need an operation on the nose, it'll be in a month. If I need plastic surgery, they'll wait for 6 months. The lawyer wants to sue for $7,500. $10,000 and $25,000 if there are scars. I think that's foolish when the fellow has no money. It would help if he could pay the doctor bills, though. 45 book reports, 4 papers, and 4 exams in the next 2 weeks. Babysitting and a farewell party for Walt tonight. So busy. Love, Ruthie. 2457 Kenilworth Road, Cleveland Heights, Ohio, May 24th, 1950. Dearest Mother, what a nice letter from you today, dear. I'm on my way to the co-op to do the typing of my term book for tomorrow. I've been working steadily and get tired, so don't worry if I don't get time to write as often. Every minute is really budgeted now to meet the deadline. The bandages come off this weekend, and if I look at all presentable, I'm going to take time out for John's fraternity dance. His car is all fixed up, even new upholstery in the front and seat covers, so things are coming okay. I just got another surprise, a $15 check from the Mothers Club at school instead of sending me flowers. Isn't that nice? My goodness, I've been so surprised at all this. One of the teachers asked if I decided to get married, says she wants to buy me a piece of silver. I told her I thought the teachers had done enough for me now. Tonight she wanted me to use her ticket to the ICEC banquet. Oh, but it's so beautiful out, it almost hurts. The trees and grass so green and are so warm, and birds and flowers so lovelier. I like it better than Florida, but then maybe it's because I'm so happy. I hope Bud won't be in California when I come home. I think we'll get married sometime the first part of July, then drive on out to Banff, and then back across the lakes. The fellow was judged guilty. He has a criminal record, the latest armed robbery, and may be on parole. It was so sweet of Irene and her mother to send cards. I feel so guilty because I tried to get a parcel together at Christmas and had something for Irene but not Beverly Ann. By that time I got that, she had a boy, and I wanted to send something for him. Still nowhere. Love, Ruthie. Now we have a number of comments here from the original publication. And the first comment is from the author herself, my mother, Ruth Smallshaw Ray. Dear editor, you certainly are good to put my past life down. It brings back so many memories. I plan to send the 1949 issue to Connie for her birthday, October 30th. She sent me a card with our photo on it from 1949 when she was in Cleveland for my birthday. It could have been on the cover of SFMC 29. I wonder what happened to the missing pages of the car accident. I remember that I thought I was blind. I guess I had blood in my eyes. However, when the doctor, finished stitching up my nose, cheeks, and face for hours, the doctor told me to open my eyes and look in the mirror. I told him that I couldn't see. He assured me that I could. What a shock, a mass of black sutures. However, I was relieved that I wasn't blind. When John came in to see me, he turned green. When we went to a plastic surgeon, he turned purple. Ted Zook then sent us to Dr. Glover, and he didn't look so alarmed. I learned years later that if you ever have facial injuries, that you should call in a plastic surgeon first, not let an intern practice on your face as we did. Call in a plastic surgeon to the emergency room if necessary. Later I had to have plastic surgery anyway because they hadn't sutured the nerves underneath, and I couldn't move my cheek. Still have an indentation there. The operation was worse than the accident. However, it was a turning point in my life. Later, back in the apartment alone, I guess I experienced post-traumatic shock, hallucination, for Don Lane appeared, came into the room, gave me a big smile, and vanished. I have never seen him since. Later then, John came into the room, and he was real. I realized that I could have been killed, wouldn't have been married, and had my 4 children. It had been a traumatic experience. After we were married, John burned all my old love letters from all my old boyfriends, a trunk full. However, while trying to clear up the recreation room, I found a box of letters from Mother, and in it are 2 letters from Wade. I asked John if he would like to read them. Thanks for the memories. Nostalgia. Mother, Ruth. I was so broke. Maybe you can see how I am now so frugal and save things. Love, Mother. And the next comment is from Rosa Chukalofa. My dearest boy, hello. Thank you very much for everything, my sonny. You still remember me and still send your issues to me. Thank you ever so much. Rosa Chukalofa, Tomsk, Siberia, Russia. The next comment is from my sister, Patricia Ray, the daughter of Ruth Smallshaw Ray. I enjoyed reading SFMC number 29. Can't believe Mom didn't really complain at all about her face. Mom was just a bundle of energy. I wish I had inherited that. Patricia A. Ray, Boston, Massachusetts. And the next comment is from John S. Ray, the husband of the author, Ruth Smallshaw Ray. Dear editor, dearest mother, love Ruthie, number 28, read and enjoyed very much. What a busy bee your mother was and is. I wholeheartedly agree with all the positive things you said about her. There were many very interesting items such as John likes Ruth's red hair, her crowning glory. There is a high correlation between the people with high IQs and those who live in a high socioeconomic level, which is only logical. I really have enjoyed myself so much the last while, sort of self-realization you might call it. In order to have a baby, it's wise to have a husband. Before I acquire a husband, I'm going to want to have my degree. John's dad is so nice, a lot like John. His eyes are more twinkling. John S. Ray, Cleveland, Ohio. To be continued. Well, that concludes today's presentation. Good luck to you with your efforts in family history. If this interests you, finding, preserving, and sharing old letters, diaries, and photographs, and interviewing elderly relatives while they're alive, you might consider checking out our website, Adventures in History with Peter J. Ray, at peterjray.com. You also might consider checking out our podcast, Adventures in History, which is available on Spotify, Breaker, Google Podcasts, and Radio Public. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. God bless you. Take care. And I'll see you next time.